Well, I remember stating last week that the reason why people can make outlandish conversations or say that Donald Trump can, he can say he doesn't like black people and things like that. People can make those statements and people believe it is because he's not necessarily been the nicest to other races besides white people, unfortunately. And one of those cases where he did that, where he ostracized a group of people like he's doing to Hispanics now, he did it to black people in the past. And the story is the Central Park Five. And in this case, there was a woman, nice white lady. She was beaten very, very badly and raped. Beaten so badly she lost her memory. So she couldn't really say what happened or who had done it. So what did Trump do? He kind of went on what Trump does and just make up claims and just said what he thought was right. And there have been stories of, various, small gangs of black kids running around, doing things in a park kind of similar to that. But there was no actual evidence that these kids did anything. So they rounded up 5 kids from this gang, 5 black kids, and they took them in and they pretty much coerced them into admitting to it, saying that we're going to give you life in prison and all those other kind of things. You can only imagine what they said to children to get these guys to plea out to a lesser charge. So that's what the kids do. Again, they're not lawyers. They don't know what's going on. They don't know if there's evidence. They said they didn't do it, but unfortunately, in the world we live in, if the police want to put you in jail, especially a young black man, if they really want to, they can. And that's why these kids were like, oh my God, I don't want to get life. I'm terrified. Okay, I'll plea out. So these kids plea out to a thing they did not do whatsoever. They spent years and years in prison. The majority of them, 4 spent 7 years in prison, and the other one spent 14 years in prison. So because they were unwrongfully arrested and spent that time in prison, it is a rule in New York that, hey, we're going to pay you for that time. So what they did is when they got out, they all got paid $1 million per year. Now, you can argue the amount, but I think $1 million is because imagine if you were in prison for a year. Now, you hear the horror stories. Now imagine if you were in prison for 7 to 14 years and you were a young adult when you first went in there. I doubt that you had the best time. So they're trying to overly compensate you for that and allow you to have a good life, allow you to not have to work again because they took away those years where you could have gotten an education and worked and things of the such to better yourself. Well, Trump, he made an initial statement when it first happened that, hey, these kids did it. He published a whole page article in the news saying, hey, these kids did it. They need to go to jail. I'm calling for them to go to prison when there was no evidence. He's now been found that he was wrong. These people were innocent. The guy who actually did it confessed to it a few years later. Well, not a few years later, but a few years ago. And Trump now, after these kids have gotten money for being in prison for so many years, wrongfully in prison for so many years, he says that I bet all these kids are laughing now that they're able to get all this free money, and it's a shame the taxpayers have to pay for these kids. And he pretty much doubled down on his statement and was like, oh, these kids, they're happy that they went to prison for those many years and now they're millionaires.
Now, is he on tape saying
yes.
that? Or
was it on tape or was it an article?
It was an article, but it was his actual words. Like, he literally said, I guarantee these kids are laughing that this happened. And that, to me, is so despicable. And he didn't say this 5 years ago, 6 years ago. He said this year. He said this as he's running for president. Why isn't this story in the mainstream media? This man was wrong, got 5 children put in prison for years upon years of their life, and then had the audacity to talk bad about these children. That is who is leading the Republican Party as the nominee. That, to me, is why people can say he doesn't like black people and get away with it. Because Trump does those kinds of things, and people just overlook it like, oh, that's Trump. That's just what Trump does. No, that's wrong.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely wrong. It's disgusting. And I'm not much like what you said earlier. I don't want to give Trump a whole lot of time at all. Thank you for bringing this up. Let's show some negativity about him. Let's not give him any glory, and let's go on. I like that.
Yep. The thing is, everybody has opinions, and I'm sure everybody had an opinion about the 5 you're talking about. The difference is with Trump's money, he actually does have a much larger voice, bully pulpit, for his opinion. he is a real estate person. He is not a law enforcement officer.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a lawyer. He's not even a private eye. You know, I mean, so he has no investigative background for him to say one way or the other somebody's guilty or innocent any more than the rest of us do. Like everybody's got their own personal opinions when a big high profile case shows up, but we don't have the stature that he does and the voice resonance out to
An ability to sway that opinion
yeah.
in someone's favor or not in someone's favor.
And we let him.
We let him. That's the sad part, is that the American people, I don't know why. I cannot even begin to fathom why he has such a following, because nothing he has said or done has ever possibly swayed me to be like, man, that man's right. But something is, and it's working on thousands and thousands of people across this country, and the more people that are following him, the more that his money gets to make his opinion fact.
Valid. I wouldn't say fact, but valid.
In this case, it was accepted as fact.
Quotation mark fact. I did see the quotation marks.
Oh,
you
yeah,
couldn't
there
really
was
say
a quote.
quotation mark fact.
Yeah, it's just, in my opinion, it's bullcrap. I don't know what is appealing to these people, but I absolutely believe that it is time that somebody stand up and, call him out on, this is not okay, all because you're Trump. You don't get to say these things. You don't get to do these things. It's not about being politically correct. It's about being humane. It's about being humanely correct, not walking on people's rights.
Right. But everybody who attacked Trump early on fell hard. In the party,
I'll attack him. Let him attack back. It's not going to hurt me.
Well, no, we're not running for office.
Point. But, so is that the solution? We have everybody who's not running for office stand up and attack Trump?
Apparently so, because nobody else is being brave enough to do it. No one else is calling him out on his bullshit when it comes to these things. Not even the media. So,
well, I think that the media for the longest time just laughed him off because he was saying such outlandish things. They're like, there's no way in hell he's getting the nomination. But when he was front runner for the first week, 3 weeks, 8 weeks,
do you think,
and it's still going up, they had to give him, airtime because he is the front runner for the Republican.
Do you think that they propelled his...
Yeah. Even look at the last debate, the last Republican debate. What were the majority of the topics? Oh, Trump said this. Oh, Trump said that.
Yeah.
That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about policies and issues. And I just wanted to make sure everyone knows the reason I called them kids at the time that they were arrested. They were 14 to 16 years old.
wasn't one of them, I think, Hispanic or Latino?
Maybe. I'm not totally sure.
I think at least one of them
was Hispanic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all that I really wanted to give
Trump's
like to Trump.
Ready to,
we are hoping Trump's getting ready to tank.
If Trump is still in January, I will be surprised.
And I think once he goes up against a Democrat like Bernie Sanders, who's going to call you out on your issues and stand to his, who's not going to back down just because you scream louder than him, he's not going to hold up. He's going to crumble under the pressure.
I think it would be interesting, though, to see a debate with him and Hillary, just because Hillary at one point was funded by him, endorsed by him. Yeah. So it would be interesting. Yeah, it would be interesting to see that debate. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't ever want to see that debate.
Yeah,
I don't want to see either one of them.
Trump elevated that high.
I would actually rather see a Trump-Sanders debate and not be for the presidential office, because that's just terrifying all by itself.
Yeah.
But
She's not Sanders.
Trump can't argue policy.
He can't.
Trump will, okay, yeah, I have a policy for that. These are some brief little things on it. I can't go into detail. And then he's back to slamming people.
Until you elect me.
He's off topic, and he's doing everything he can to dodge it.
Yeah.
People are still buying that right now. I'm done with seeing it. people like Bernie Sanders, and the reason why I'd rather it be Sanders than Hillary is Hillary can get a little hot under the collar. I believe that Trump could get to her, and she would stoop down to his level a few times. I don't want to see that. I believe Sanders could stay cool-headed and holding to the topics and the issues. I would rather see that debate.
And right before we go on to the next topic, I just want to say exactly what came out of Trump's mouth. He actually wrote in to get his opinion and his voice out. And some of the stuff he said was, let's see. If I was, they should be very thankful I wasn't mayor because they wouldn't have gotten a dime. They owe the taxpayers of the city of New York an apology for taking money out of their pockets like candy from a baby. These young men do not exactly have the past of angels. You know, again, demonizing the victim, and then to have the audacity to say they need to apologize to taxpayers. Right? Like, his background isn't an angel. Apparently, he went to military school not because he wanted to, but because he was so outlandish that his parents had to send him there.
He got expelled from
his previous school.
Started something with a teacher or something like that.
Yeah, he cursed out an arts teacher or something like that. Yeah. But all right,
look at you, you're a shrew.
At 15 years old, you don't even get to make mistakes that, you know, the courts will hold you accountable for when you're an adult, unless you have seriously screwed up. You know, no, you can't judge them on what they were doing at that age.
No. Dear God,
please don't.
By what we were doing.
We've been
13 and 20, but still not a good thing.
Yeah.